Art was always there in my family. So even though my parents, my dad was a civil servant, my mother was a housewife, but there was such a culture which was already there in the household. You know, they would paint together. So, you know, we'll sculpt together, we would carve on a soap together. I really cherish those memories, but they always pushed me more and more towards art. During the first trip, that was also in '97, they got me a self-hardening clay. So, and then the clay was just lying there on my table, and my father came to me and he was like, you know, itne time se rakha hua hai, make something out of it. And I was like, what do I make? And you know, we had the newspaper right in front of me, and I.K. Gujral was the current Prime Minister at that point of time. And I was like, what do I do? And then I looked at the clay and then I created a caricature. It's a self-hardening clay and it's about 2 inches height. It's 3-dimensional sculpture. So it's I.K. Gujral wearing diapers and holding a globe. And my father came a few hours later and he's like, you know, this is a lot of fun. You know, we should make series of them. So, you know, that kind of encouragement, that motivation really nurtures the talent in a big way. My grandmother was a poet. Also, she used to do lovely paintings, wash paintings, which do not exist in India anymore because this was done during the Bengal school. So I believe that art was already there in the family, but nobody took it professionally because of course, various reasons in the society at that point of time. I started exhibiting very early as a child artist. I also remember I was representing India in a cultural exchange to Russia back in 1997. All of that sort of, you know, endorsed the fact that I should pursue art. And I went into fine arts. I went to Delhi College of Arts for my undergrad in painting. So I always felt that, you know, there's just so much to say. And I'm just doing a painting. It's a fabulous composition. You know, it's more tactile. All of that is there, but I have so much more to tell. And from painting, I transitioned to animation. I did a course while I was doing my painting, my undergrad at College of Art. And then post that, I exhibited as a visual artist for a year. And then went for my master's in animation at Sheridan College. And at that point of time, I also started working with National Film Board of Canada. Did a lot of experimental animations, worked on a television show, and then finally migrated back to India. India was my calling for sure. So when it comes to animation, you know, one of the TV shows which is quite popular among the audience is The Legend of Hanuman, which is on Disney+Hotstar. हम लोग भी season 3 and 4 पे हम लोग कर रहे हैं काम. So that is the TV show, I would say, which is really well known, and we are the co-creators of the TV show. And besides that, we have Legend of Ramayana, where we created a lot of, with Amish Tripathi on Discovery. So we created a lot of animation fragments for that particular TV show. And besides that, as a company, as a studio, we do a lot of immersive experiences for various museums across India. So चाहे वो आपका चंकोर साहिब हो in Punjab, to Ramkatha Sangrahalaya in Ayodhya. Then there are 2 open theatre museums in Shravasti and Kaplavastu. And then there's another present one that we are doing on Mahabharat as well. So the Hanuman installation started way back in 2009. So as I mentioned before, during my journey, I was in Canada. And a project had come to me, which was supposed to be a commercial project on Hanuman Chalisa. So I had an audio track, and this was about 13 minutes long. It had various top-notch singers, Bollywood ke. So I was told कि, you know, the producer wanted कि इसका आप visual poetry बनाइए, you know, I really want an animated piece out of it. And that's where the journey started. So I spent about 3 years making the animated film. The film was short, of course. Now what happens is, at this point of time, things are very different in the market. But us time pe, how do you promote a short film, which is just 13 minutes long? Now, the film went on to various film festivals. It went to about 50 film festivals. It was shortlisted in 7 Oscar qualifying festivals. But then what do you do later? Like, how do I showcase the film in India to an audience You can, put it up on YouTube, but uske alawa there was nothing else. That's where I conceived the idea ki let me create an exhibition, let me create various artworks together where there's an interesting mix of spirituality, art, technology, which sort of, again brings about families together, it sort of attracts younger audience. So it's not the cliche representation of mythology, but a new representation of mythology. So वहाँ से फिर idea आया कि let me create a sculpture again which is taken from the film. It's 25 feet in height, it's made of 26,000 bells. So that's where that came from. Then came the cover, फिर उसके साथ merchandise आई, फिर hologram का piece आया. तो interesting बात ये है कि I still remember when I thought of the idea, I had friends who were sculptors. उनके साथ मैंने interact किया कि this is my thought, but I'm thinking it should be much bigger because Hanuman's magnificence has to be shown as a bigger than life, because that's his his superpower कि he can enlarge. They were like नहीं possible है, what are you talking about? ऐसे कैसे बन जाएगा? It needs to have an armature. Traditional ideas थे कि भाई क्ले में बनाते हैं, स्टोन में बनाते हैं. लाइक मुझे ये तो करना ही नहीं है, मैं तो कुछ और सोच रही हूँ. तो किसी ने बिलीव नहीं किया. देन आई हैड 2 NIDians at that point of time who were interning with me. I shared the idea with them. They were like, yeah, no, this is absolutely possible, let's do a prototype pehle. So it took so long, it took really long to make others understand कि this is the idea that I have. So फिर पहले मैंने एक प्रोटोटाइप बनाया which was 1:10 ratio का, and वो मोतियों से बना हुआ था. So जब तक वो सक्सेसफुल नहीं हुआ, nobody believed me कि something like this is possible. So वही, you have to take risk, you have to believe in yourself कि what you're thinking is possible, and you have to show everyone around you कि this is pretty much possible. It's right here in front of you. Then it took a lot of while because with scale comes complexity. कोई भी चीज़ जब आप छोटी बनाते हैं, it has no issues with stability or weight. Lots of other issues which rises when you are making something much bigger. So 25 feet के उसमें weight became the biggest problem. Balancing became the biggest problem because कभी sculpture आगे गिरना शुरू हो जाए, कभी पीछे, and lots of other challenges came in. So it was a lot of fun. It was a huge learning experience for me. But yeah, it took about good 6-7 months to create that piece. And the way the whole artwork is made, वो पूरा का पूरा एक trunk में आ जाता है. So I can actually take the artwork wherever I wish in the country, all across the globe, because it comes in a trunk. And it takes me about a good 48 hours to erect the whole sculpture. So that's how it's designed. I remember my mother had to, hear a lot from other distant family members. बहुत पहले, when I was starting out, कि you are blinded with your daughter's love. क्यों उतना उसको push कर रहे हो? She should get married. इस तरह के तो सभी को I think सुनने पड़ते होंगे. And then when you are finally taking a plunge, you have become an entrepreneur, and you are young. So when I started off, I was very young. I was in my 20s. So when you go out, meet other studio owners, then they take you for a ride. फिर negative comments आता था, इसको क्या पता, ये तो young छोरी है, young लड़की है, अभी आई है, ये तो बस शादी हो जाएगी and she'll close her studio. So I kept hearing those. When I started, and within 3 years, I was recruiting people who were twice my age. So जब आप उनसे बात करो, उनको समझाओ कि ये vision है story का, या आपके जो विजुअल्स हैं इस तरह के दिखाई देने चाहिए इन एवरी सिंगल शॉट, या कलर करेक्शन ऐसा हो, या कंपोजिटिंग ऐसा होना चाहिए. सो बैकफायर करती थी चीज़ें. दे वुड से कि आपको नहीं पता, मैं इंडस्ट्री में बहुत रह चुका हूँ, ऐसा होना चाहिए. तो देन दे आर लाइक कि एज बिकम्स अ प्रॉब्लम, प्लस यू आर अ फीमेल बॉस. बट देन अगेन आई वुड से इट्स ऑल राइट. आई थिंक इट्स नथिंग टू डू विथ female or male. I feel दोनों में ये problems आते हैं, whether you are a male or a female. So I would say when it comes to inspiration, focus, it would be my own personal experiences at times. It is the stories which are around me. It is, the very city, the very country where I live in. is my inspiration. I still remember I was so creatively challenged when I was living in Canada. But when जैसे यहाँ आती थी ना, something used to happen. कि I would step in and all of a sudden I would feel so energized कि, you know, I have to do this story, I have to do this story. So it's something about our nation, our country. So I would say it's my country that sort of gives me the inspiration. Rejections की तो भरमात है. Every phase of life, everything has had rejections. But those rejections are what have molded me further. As in, you know, when I look back and I feel कि क्यों हुआ ये rejection? Yeah, when you're going through that rejection, you feel very bad. You know, you feel very disappointed. You feel, why is this happening to me? You know, this was perfect. Yeah, this was perfect for the client. Yeah, this was perfect for the film festival. XYZ, various reasons. The same exhibition, I'll give you an example. The same exhibition, Hanuman Ji ka, it took me 2 years to convince people to exhibit at their venue. I don't want to name who all, but the same venues sort of reached out to me later on, after, you know, after good 7-8 years later, saying, you know, we would want to host this exhibition. We will take care of all the expenses. Please, you know, you host at our venue. You please host this at our venue. Otherwise, imagine the same exhibition took me 2 years of convincing and absolutely no sponsorship, nothing. So rejections are always there. I would say one needs to have confidence in themselves. Ki, you know, whatever you're doing is correct. Sometimes those rejections also teach you ki what is it that is lacking and what can be done better. She's a creator and she's a creation herself. That's what woman stands for me. She's the energy, she's Shakti, she's the force. She's someone, you know, who can nurture life. She's the caregiver, she stands for empathy. She's a protector, she's preserver. And all of these qualities, all of these energies, all of this stands as a woman for me. So it was my father, and now of course it's my husband, who's a constant pillar of support and strength. And he's always there. He's very much, you know, an equal part of my company. He's one of the founders now. And he's always pushing every single project. You know, there are days where I feel very disappointed, very discouraged, or almost, you know, extremely exhausted, and he'll be there pushing it further. Ki, no, you have to do it. You can definitely push yourself. You are creating life, but in a virtual world. You need to know how to tell a story, and then you become a filmmaker. Similarly, animation mein, if you know what your art is, what art is all about, if you know what color sensibilities are, human anatomy kaise hoti hai, your skills are in place, then I would say go into animation. So your foundation has to be strong. If you're saying culture, I'll say India, husband or child, yeah, cosmopolitan. Feminism, Frida Kahlo, looks bright. Art is soul. Society is a reflection, infinite. Hi, I'm Charuvi Agarwal and you're watching Delhipedia. To all the audience over here, wish you a very happy Women's Day.